the season premiere of This Is Polly with this freaky couple, Trent, Nita, and Cammy. They're also featured on this season of Love After Lockup. And Nita looks a little different on This Is Polly compared to Love After Lockup. Her hair is completely different. Like, she has her hair like in these braids, kind of dreads, and in the show Love After Lockup, she has her hair all curly. So it kind of looks like there's a little time span between them filming each of these seasons. The producers decided to sit the throuple down and ask them what their sexual preferences were. And I thought it was interesting because they all had different sexual preferences. We got Trent, and he said that he's straight. Then we have Nita, and she said she's trisexual. She'll try anything. As long as she thinks you're attractive, she's ready to freak a leak in the bedroom. And then we have Cammy, and she said all her life she's always been straight, but now she considers herself pansexual because she never was into women, but once Nita started coming on to her, she's like, okay, let me go ahead and give this a chance. And now she's into Nita. And Nita's like, you know, she'll eat my coochie, she'll use me like a bowling ball and do all this stuff with me, but she's not into doing that kind of stuff with other women. I think she would probably be into doing that with other women. She just has to find the right person. But I think she also has her sexual preferences confused, because if you're into men and women, that means that you're bisexual, not pansexual. Pansexual means that you'll do anything, like you're trisexual, kind of like how Nita is, and you're willing to do people whether they're transsexual, she-male, anything. And that doesn't seem like what Nita is all about. She just seems like she's straight unless she finds the right woman. And you know, sometimes I can't help, I'm like, okay, is Cammy really into Nita, like, as a person? Like, it really does seem like they thoroughly enjoy each other's company. But the way Cammy be treating Nita sometimes, it's like, okay, is this your girlfriend or is this like your little sex toy? Because sometimes it just seems like she treats her like a little sex toy, and sometimes I'm like, okay, does she really love this girl or is it just lust? I will give it to them though, out of all the thruples, I will say it seems like they had the best foundation and the most history out of all the other thruples. Like, they've been together for years, or Nita's been in the picture for years at this point. So I don't think she's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And then we see them talk about how their dating life is. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that they were strictly going to have things between them. I figured like Cammy and Trent just wanted to keep Nita to themselves and not want her to venture out in case she went and found somebody else, because you never know, you know, she might venture out and find another man and think, oh, okay, this is what I really want. It seems like she's really into women and prefers women over men, so you never know, she might go find a woman that she can have all to herself that she doesn't have to share with her husband, and then it could just be a wrap after that. But apparently they have it to where they're all allowed to go out on dates with other people, but they have a time frame on it. I can't remember if they said 2 hours or 4 hours. I think they said 2 hours. It may have been 4 hours though, where they're allowed to go out on a date with another person, but after that 2 to 4 hours is up, they got to come back home and come be with the rest of the family. But they're all allowed to go on their own one-on-one dates, and it sounds like they're only allowing it to be one-on-one. Like, it doesn't sound like they're open with Nita going to be with another couple, because they strictly just said one-on-one dates. So far, I'm really enjoying this show, This Is Polly. But the only one complaint I have about the show is on the season premiere of Love After Lockup, we see Cammy, and she decides to write an email to her family members and come out to her family members, because all this time she has been in the closet, and the only people that's known about Nita and the fact that Cammy has Nita in her life, or is Polly, is their kids and a select few close friends, but none of their friends have known about, or none of their family has known about this up until then. So when Cammy and Nita are out in public, she refuses to be affectionate or kiss on her because she's scared of the wrong person seeing and it getting around. So she decided to send this email. But what I don't understand is, we see in the season premiere she writes this email, so I figured in the next episode of Love After Lockup they're going to continue up and we're going to see what the family's reaction is to the email. But the thing is, they started that on Love After Lockup, and then they finished it on the season premiere of This Is Polly. So we see her send the email on this episode of This Is Polly, and then we see the family, well, some of the family members responded back, and we're going to get to the responses here in a moment. But that's the thing, you really have to watch This Is Polly to fully get all the answers to what's going on Love After Lockup. And that's the only complaint I have, because not everybody watches both shows. I know that they want to do what they can to get as many people watching this new show as possible, and I definitely recommend, like I said, but at the same time, if you don't watch this show, then you'll be confused when next week they just move past this whole email part or storyline on Love After Lockup. And I know people will probably be confused, like, oh, whatever happened to the email, or whatever happened to them coming out. Well, no, it happened on the last episode of This Is Polly, so you gotta watch that to figure it out. So we see that Nita decides to write this email, and I don't understand, why did you have to do it in an email? Like, if I was them, I would have just wrote a letter or made a Facebook post, or maybe just made a Facebook message and sent it to several people, or made a group chat or something, because the chances of her knowing all her family members' emails, I just think it's small. Like, me personally, maybe she does know all her family members' emails, but when I sit down and think about it, the only family member emails I know is like my brother, and that's it. I don't know, like, my mom's, my sisters, my cousins. I don't know any of their emails. So the likelihood of her having all her family members' emails, I just think the word's not going to get out that much. I just felt like doing it that way is like essentially just like announcing it to avoid, like, just so you can say you did it, but that is going to have the less impact. Like, that's her just saying, oh, don't worry, baby, I'm going to tell the whole world that we're together, and then screaming in an empty hallway, oh, yes, I'm in a poly relationship, Nita's my girl, I like women. But nobody's going to hear it from an empty hallway, you know, but she can say, oh yeah, I did it, just to make Nita feel better about the situation, but it had no impact. Okay, scratch what I just said, because 95% of my videos are made without a script. I literally just like watch 5 minutes of the episode, then I come here and I recap part of it, and then I watch 5 more minutes, recap a little bit more, and that's how I do my videos. So I'm like reacting in real time. And I thought at the beginning of this recap that they had just sent out an email like they revealed at the beginning of the episode. But as the episode went on, I learned that they also made a Facebook post. So I will give her credit for that they actually did make a Facebook post. So there's a chance of a lot more people seeing it, and people whose emails they may have not seen. I'm glad that you made a Facebook post too, because just sending a sterile mass email to people that you don't even have an active relationship with, or people that you don't even talk to that much, can just feel cold, awkward, and transactional, in my opinion. And also, when you just send an email, it kind of feels like that could be a way to control the narrative, because that way you limit what people say in response. Like, if you make a Facebook post, then you can't control how people react. People are going to leave emojis, responses. They may argue in the comment section, but sending an email, yeah, they can respond, but if they respond, it's not going to be publicly like a Facebook post. But I'm glad they made a Facebook post. But unfortunately for them, a lot of the feedback they got was not positive. One of Trent's family members talked about how embarrassed she was and how she was going to block them because of that. And I'm like, okay, it's not, that family member really wasn't for you guys at the end of the day. Like, I understand you may not agree with their decision, but just the fact that they love in a way that you don't agree with, that shouldn't be a reason to cut off years of being a family member to someone over something like that. And someone else was like, okay, you can do what you want to do in public, but you don't have to bring it to a public platform like Facebook. So it seems like a lot of the family disagrees, and they're embarrassed by their decision to do this. And if you're upset now that they posted this on Facebook, just wait. Now I wonder how they feel now that the show's out. I feel like this is them prepping their family for, hey, you know, well, there's going to be a lot more of us in our poly relationship here coming soon. And I wonder if the family's watching the show and how they feel. But then I also have to wonder, how close is Cameo and Trent really with their family anyways, if you have to email them to make an announcement like this or post on Facebook. I was really hoping, like when I saw the press release for this season and saw that Cammy had been hiding the fact that she was poly and the fact that she was with Nita, I was really hoping that we were going to see her get together with her family and sit down with her family and look her family in the eyes and see them face to face to make this announcement and introduce them to Nita in person. But the fact that they're not doing that makes me think either one, they don't want to be involved in the show, or two, they're not very close with Cammy or Trent to begin with. But regardless if they're close or not, you can definitely tell that their negative responses are having an effect on Cammy and Trent, especially Trent. Trent was getting teary-eyed, and I guess he prepped his dad behind closed doors and told his dad, like, hey, we're poly, we're about to be on the show. And his dad didn't have very nice things to say to him, to the fact that Trent was getting teary-eyed and very emotional over it. But that's it for this video, guys. This is Polly, the season premiere with a throuple that is also on Love After Lockup. Let me know what you guys think about them in the comments below, and if you're watching this show, and what you guys think about it so far. And thank you so much for watching.